book of 1 Kings, chapter 16. Then the word of the Lord came to Jehu, son of Hanani, against Baasha, saying, Forasmuch as I exalted thee out of the dust, and made thee prince over my people Israel, and thou hast walked in the way of Jeroboam, and hast made my people Israel to sin, and provoke me to anger with their sins. Behold, I will take away the prosperity of Baasha and the prosperity of his house, and will make thy house like the house of Jeroboam the son of Nebat. Him of Baasha that dieth in the city shall the dogs eat, and him that dieth of his in the fields shall the fowls of the air eat. Now the rest of the acts of Baasha, and what he did, and his might, are they not written in the book of the chronicles of the kings of Israel? So Baasha slept with his fathers, and was buried in Tirzah, and Elah his son reigned in his stead. And also by the hand of the prophet Jehu the son of Hanani came the word of the Lord against Baasha and against his house, even for all the evil that he did in the sight of the Lord, in provoking him to anger with the work of his hands, in being like the house of Jeroboam, and because he killed him. In the 26th year of Asa king of Judah began Elah the son of Baasha to reign over Israel in Tirzah 2 years. And his servant Zimri, captain of half his chariots, conspired against him, as he was in Tirzah, drinking himself drunk in the house of Azar, steward of the house of Tirzah. And Zimri went in and smote him and killed him in the 27th year of Asa king of Judah, and reigned in his stead. And it came to pass, when he began to reign, as soon as he sat on his throne, he slew all the house of Baasha, and left him not one that urinates against the wall, neither of his kinsfolk nor of his friends. Thus did Zimri destroy all the house of Baasha, according to the word of the Lord which he spoke against Baasha by Jehu the prophet. For all the sins of Baasha and the sins of Elah his son, by which they sinned, and by which they made Israel to sin, in provoking the Lord God of Israel to anger with their vanities. Now the rest of the acts of Elah, and all he did, are they not written in the book of the chronicles of the kings of Israel? And in the 27th year of Asa king of Judah did Zimri reign 7 years in Tirzah, and the people were encamped against Gibbethah, which belonged to the Philistines. And the people who were encamped heard it, and said, Zimri hath conquered, and also slain the king. Therefore all Israel made Omri, the captain of the hosts, king over Israel that day in the camp. And Omri went up from Gibbethon, and all Israel with him, and they besieged Tisra. And it came to pass, when Zimri saw that the city was taken, he went into the palace of the king's house, and burned the king's house over himself and with fire, and died, because his sins, which he sinned in doing in the sight of the Lord, in walking in the way of Jeroboam, and in his sin which he did to make Israel sin. Now the rest of the acts of Zimri, and his treason that he wrought, are they not written in the book of the chronicles of the kings of Israel? Then were the people Israel divided in 2 parts. Half the people followed Tibni, the son of Ginath, to make him king, and half followed Omri. But the people who followed Omri prevailed against the people who followed Tibni, the son of Gibnath. So Tibni died, and Omri reigned. In the 31st year of Asa king of Judah began Omri to reign over Israel 12 years. 6 years reigned he in Tisra. And he brought the hill of Samaria from Shemer for 2 talents of silver, and built on the hill. And he called the name of the city which he built after the name Shemer, owner of the hill, Samaria. But Omri wrought evil in the eyes of the Lord, and did worse than all who were before him. For he walked in all the ways of Jeroboam son of Nebat, and his sin wherewith he made Israel to sin, to provoke the Lord God of Israel to anger with their vanities. Now the rest of the acts of Omri, which he did in his might, that he showed, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? So Omri slept with his fathers, and was buried in Samaria, and Ahab his son reigned after his stead. And in the 38th year of Asa, king of Judah, began Ahab son of Omri to reign over Israel. And Ahab son of Omri reigned over Israel in Samaria 22 years. And Ahab son of Omri did evil in the sight of the Lord above all who were before him. And it came to pass, as if it had been a light thing for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam son of Nebat, that he took for a wife Jezebel, daughter of Ethbaal, king of the Sidonians, and went and served Baal and worshipped him. And he reared up an altar for Baal, and in the house of Baal, which he had built in Samaria. And Ahab made an Asherah pole. And Ahab did more to provoke the Lord God of Israel to anger than all the kings of Israel who were before him. In his days, Hiel of Bethel built Jericho. He laid the foundation thereof in Abiram, his firstborn, and set up the gates thereof in his youngest son, Segub, according to the word of the Lord, which he had spoken by Joshua the son of Nun. Chapter 17. No, we're not going to play fetch. And Elijah the Tishbite, who was of the inhabitants of Gilead, said to Ahab, As the Lord of Israel liveth, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain these years, except according to my word. And the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, Get thee hence, and turn thee eastward, and hide thyself by the brook Cherith, that is before the Jordan. And it shall be that thou shalt drink from the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there. So he went and did according to the word of the Lord, and he went and dwelt by the brook Cherith, that is before the Jordan. And the ravens brought him bread and flesh in the morning, and bread and flesh in the evening, and he drank from the brook. And it came to pass, for a while, that the brook dried up, because there had been no rain in the land. And the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, Arise, get thee to Zarephath, which belongeth to Sidon, and dwell there. Behold, I have commanded a widow woman there to sustain thee. So he arose, and went to Zarephath. And when he came to the gate of the city, behold, a widow woman was there gathering sticks. And he called to her, and said, Fetch me, I pray thee, a little water in a vessel, that I may drink. And she, as she was going to fetch it, he called to her, and said, Bring me, I pray thee, a morsel of bread in thine hand. And she said, As the Lord thy God liveth, I have not a cake, but a handful of meal in a barrel, and a little oil in a cruse. And behold, I am gathering 2 sticks, that I may go in and dress it for me and my son, that we may eat it and die. And Elijah said to her, Fear not, go and do as thou hast said, but make me thereof a little cake first, and bring it unto me, and afterward make for thee and thy son. For thus saith the Lord God of Israel, The barrel of meal shall not waste, neither shall the cruse of oil fail, until the day that the Lord sendeth rain upon the earth. So she went and did according to the saying of Elijah. And she and her house ate for many days, and the barrel of meal wasted not, neither did the cruse of oil fail, according to the word of the Lord which he spoke by Elijah. And it came to pass after these things, that the son of the woman, the mistress of the house, fell sick, and his sickness was so sore that there was no breath left in him. And she said unto the Elijah, What have I done to thee, O thou man of God? Art thou come unto me to call my sin to remembrance, and to slay my son? And he said unto her, Give me thy son. And he took him out of her bosom, and carried him to the loft where he abode, and laid him upon his own bed. And he cried unto the Lord, and said, O Lord my God, hast thou also brought evil upon the widow with whom I sojourned by slaying her son? And he stretched himself upon the child 3 times, and cried unto the Lord, and said, O Lord my God, I pray thee, let this child's soul come into him again. And the Lord heard the voice of Elijah, and the soul of the child came into him again, and he revived. And Elijah took the child, and brought him down out of the chamber into the house, and delivered him unto his mother. And Elijah said, See, thy son liveth. And the woman said to Elijah, Now by this I know that thou art a man of God, and that the word of the Lord in thy mouth is true. Chapter 18. And it came to pass after many days that the word of the Lord came to Elijah in the 3rd year, saying, Go, show thyself unto Ahab, and I will send rain unto the earth. And Elijah went to show himself unto Ahab. And there was a sore famine in Samaria, and Ahab called Abadiah, who was governor of his house. Now Abadiah feared the Lord greatly. For it was so, when Jezebel cut off the prophets of the Lord, that Obadiah took 100 prophets and hid them by 50 in a cave, and fed them with bread and water. And Ahab said to Obadiah, Go into the land, unto all fountains of water, into the brooks. Perhaps we may find grass to save the horses and mules alive, that we lose not all the beasts. So they divided the land between them to pass through it. Ahab went one way by himself, and Obadiah went another by himself. And as Obadiah was on his way, behold, Elijah met him, and he knew him, and fell on his face, and said, Art thou my lord Elijah? And he said, I am. Go, tell thy lord, behold, Elijah is here. And he said, What have I sinned, that thou wouldest deliver thy servant into the hand of Ahab to slay me? As the Lord thy God liveth, there is no nation or kingdom, whither the Lord hath not sent to seek thee. And when they said, He is not here, he took an oath from the kingdom and nation, that they found thee not. And now thou sayest, Go tell the Lord, behold, Elijah is here. And it shall come to pass, as soon as I am gone from thee, that the Spirit of the Lord shall carry thee whither I know not. And so when I come and tell Ahab, and he cannot find thee, he shall slay me. But I thy servant fear the Lord from my youth. Was it not told my Lord that I did what I did when Jezebel slew the prophets of the Lord, how I hid 100 men of the Lord's prophets by 50 in a cave, and fed them with bread and water? And now thou sayest, Go tell the Lord, behold, Elijah is here, and he shall slay me. And Elijah said, As the Lord of hosts liveth, before whom I stand, I will surely show myself unto him this day. So Obadiah went to meet Ahab and told him, and Ahab went and met to meet Elijah. And it came to pass, when Ahab saw Elijah, that Ahab said unto him, Art thou he that troubleth Israel? And he answered, I have not troubled Israel, but thou and thy father's house, in that ye have forsaken the commandments of the Lord. And thou hast followed the Balaam. Now therefore send and gather to me all Israel unto Mount Carmel, and the prophets of Baal 450, and the prophets of the Asherah 400, who eat at Jezebel's table. So Ahab sent unto the children of Israel, and gathered the prophets together unto Mount Carmel. And Elijah came together with the people, and said, How long halt ye between 2 opinions? If the Lord be God, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. And the people answered him not a word. Then said Elijah to the people, I, even I only, remain a prophet of the Lord, but Baal's prophets are 450 men. Let them therefore give us 2 bullocks, and let them choose 1 bullock for themselves, and cut it in pieces, and lay it on wood, and put no fire under it. And I will dress the other bullock, and lay it on wood, and put no fire under it. And call ye on the name of your gods, and I will call on the name of the Lord. And the God that answereth by fire, let him be God. And all the people answered and said, It is well spoken. And Elijah said unto the prophets of Baal, Choose you 1 bullock for yourself, and dress it first, for ye are many. And call on the name of your gods, but put no fire under it. And they took the bullock which was given them, and they dressed it, and called on the name of Baal from morning until noon, saying, O Baal, hear us. But there was no voice, nor any that answered, and they leaped upon the altar which was made. And it came to pass that at noon that Elijah mocked them and said, Cry aloud, for he is a god. Either he is talking, or he is pursuing, or he is on a journey, or perhaps he sleepeth and must be awakened. And they cried aloud, and cut themselves according to their manner with knives and lancets, till the blood gushed out upon them. And it came to pass that when midday was past, that they prophesied until the time of the offering of the evening at sacrifice, and there was neither voice nor any to answer. I said, no, we're not going to play fetch. Nor any that regardeth. No. And Elijah said unto all the people, Come near unto me. And all the people came near unto him. And he repaired the altar of the Lord that was broken down. And Elijah took 12 stones according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, unto whom the word of the Lord came, saying, Israel shall be thy name. And with the stones he built an altar in the name of the Lord. And he made a trench about the altar as great as would contain 2 measures of seed. And he put the wood in order, and cut the bullock in pieces, and laid him on the wood, and said, Fill 4 barrels of water, and pour it on the burnt sacrifice, and on the wood. And he said, Do it a second time. And they did it a second time. And he said, Do it a third time. And they did it a third time. And the water ran round about the altar. And he filled the trench also with water. Now it came to pass, when at the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, that Elijah the prophet came near and said, Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and of Israel, let it be known this day that thou art God in Israel, and that I am thy servant, and that I have done all these things at thy word. Hear me, O Lord, hear me, that these people may know that thou art the Lord God, and that thou hast turned their heart back again. Then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt offering, and the wood, and the stones, and the dust, and licked up the water that was in the trench. And all the people saw it. They fell on their faces, and they said, The Lord, he is the God. The Lord, he is the God. And Elijah said unto him, Take the prophets of Baal, let not one of them escape. And they took them, and Elijah brought them down to the brook Kishon, and slew them there. And Elijah said unto Ahab, Get thee up, eat and drink, for there is a sound of abundance of rain. So Ahab went up to eat and drink. And Elijah went up to the top of Carmel, and he cast himself down to the earth, and put his face between his knees. And he said to his servant, Get up now, look toward the sea. And he went up and looked, and said, There is nothing. And he said, Go again 7 times. And it came to pass at the 7th time he said, Behold, there ariseth a little cloud out of the sea, like a man's hand. And he said, Go up, say unto Ahab, Prepare thy chariots, and get thee down, that the rain stop thee not. And it came to pass in the meantime that the heaven was black with cloud and wind, and there was a great rain. And Ahab rode and went to Jezreel. And the hand of the Lord was on Elijah, and he girded up his loins and ran before Ahab to the entrance of Jezreel. Chapter 19. And Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done, and also how he had slain all the prophets with the sword. And Jezebel sent a messenger unto Elijah, saying, So let the gods do to me, and more so, if I make not thy life as the life of one of them by tomorrow about this time. And when he saw that, he rose and went for his life, and came to Beersheba, which belongeth to Judah, and left his servant there. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness, and came and sat under a juniper tree. And he requested for himself that he might die, and said, It is enough now, O Lord, take away my life, for I am not better than my fathers. And as he lay and slept under the juniper tree, behold, an angel touched him and said unto him, Arise, and eat. And he looked, and behold, there was a cake baked on the coals, and a cruse of water at his head. And he ate and drank, and laid down again. And the angel of the Lord came in the second time, and touched him, and said, Arise, and eat, because the journey is too great for thee. And he rose, ate and drank, and went in the strength of that meat 40 days and 40 nights into Horeb, the mount of God. And he came thither into a cave, and lodged there. And behold, the word of the Lord came to him, and he went unto him, said unto him, What dost thou here, Elijah? And he said, I have been very jealous for the Lord God of hosts, for the children of Israel have forsaken thy covenant, thrown down thine altars, and slain thy prophets with the sword, and I, even I only, am left, and they seek my life to take it away. And he said, Go forth, and stand upon the mountain before the Lord. And behold, the Lord passed by, and a great strong wind rent the mountains, and broke in pieces the rocks before the Lord. And the Lord was not in the wind, and after the wind an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake a fire, the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire a still small voice. And it was so, when Elijah heard it, he wrapped his face in his mantle, and went out, and stood in the entrance of the cave. And behold, there came a voice unto him, and said, What dost thou here, Elijah? And he said, I have been very jealous for the Lord God of hosts, because the children of Israel have forsaken thy covenant, thrown down thine altars, and slain thy prophets with the sword, and I, even I only, am left. And they seek my life to take it away. And the Lord said unto him, Go, return on thy way to the wilderness of Damascus, and when thou comest, anoint Hazael to be king over Syria. And Jehu, the son of Nimshi, shalt thou anoint to be king over Hazael to be king over Syria, and Jehu, the son of Nimshi, to be king over Israel. And Elisha, son of Shaphat of Abel Mahola, shalt thou anoint to be prophet in thy stead. And it shall come to pass that him that escapeth the sword of Hazael shall Jehu slay, and him that escapeth the sword of Jehu shall Elisha slay. Yet I have left me 7,000 in Israel, all the knees of which have not bowed unto Baal, and every mouth which have not kissed him. So he departed from thence, and found Elisha the son of Shaphat, who was plowing with 12 yoke of oxen before him. And he with the 12th, and Elijah passed by him, and cast his mantle upon him. And he left his oxen, and ran after Elijah, and said, Let me, I pray thee, kiss my father and my mother, and I will follow thee. And he said unto him, Go back again, for what have I done to thee? And he returned back to him, and took a yoke of oxen, and slew them, and boiled their flesh, and with instruments of the oxen, and gave unto the people, and they ate. And he arose and went after Elijah, and ministered unto him. Chapter 20. And Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, gathered all his host together, and there were 32 kings with him, and horses and chariots. And he went up and besieged Samaria, and warred against it. And he sent messengers to Ahab, king of Israel, unto the city, and said unto him, Thus says Ben-Hadad, Thy silver and gold are mine, thy wives also, and thy children, even the goodliest are mine. And the king of Israel answered and said, My lord, O king, according to thy saying, I am thine, and all that I have. And the messengers came again, and said, Thus speaketh Ben-Hadad, saying, Although I have sent unto thee, saying, Thou shalt deliver me thy silver and thy gold, and thy wives and thy children, yet I will send my servants unto thee tomorrow about this time, and they shall search thine house, and thy houses of thy servants, and it shall be that whatsoever it pleaseth in thine eyes, they shall put it in their hand, and take it away. Then the king of Israel called all the elders of the land, and said, Mark, I pray you, and see how this man seeketh mischief. For he sent unto me for my wives and for my children and for my silver and my gold, and I denied him not. And all the elders and all the people said unto him, Hearken not unto him, nor consent. Therefore he said unto the messengers of Benhadad, Tell my lord the king all that thou didst send for unto thy servant. At the first I will do, but this thing I may not do. And the messengers departed and brought him word again. And Benhadad sent unto him and said, The gods do so unto me, and more also, if thou dost of Samaria shall suffice for handfuls of all the people who follow me. And the king of Israel answered and said, Tell me, do not let him that girdeth on his armor boast himself as he that putteth it off. And it came to pass, when Benhadad heard this message, as he was drinking, he and the kings in the pavilions, that he said to his servants, Set yourselves in array. And they set themselves in array against the city. And behold, there came a prophet unto Ahab king of Israel, saying, Thus saith the Lord, Hast thou seen all this great multitude? Behold, I will deliver it into thine hand this day, and thou shalt know I am the Lord. Ahab said, By whom? And he said, Thus saith the Lord, even by the young men of the princes of the province. When he said, Who shall order the battle? And he answered, Thou. Then he numbered the young men of the princes of the provinces, and they were 232. And after them he numbered all the people, even the children of Israel, being 7,000. And they went out at noon. But Benhadad was drinking himself drunk in the pavilions, he and the kings, the 32 kings who helped him. And the young men of the princes of the provinces went out first, and Benhadad sent out, and they told him, saying, There are men coming out of Samaria. And he said, Whether they have come out for peace, take them alive. Whether they have come for war, take them alive. So those young men of the princes of the province came out of the city, and the army which followed them, and they slew every one of his men, and the Samaritans fled, and Israel pursued them. And Benhadad the king of Syria escaped on a horse with the horsemen, and the king of Israel went out and smote the horse and the chariots, and slew the Syrians with a great slaughter. And the prophet came to the king of Israel, and said unto him, Go, strengthen thyself, and mark, and see what thou dost. For at the return of the year the king of Syria will come up against thee. And the servants of the king of Syria said unto him, Their gods are gods of the hills, therefore they were stronger than we. But let us fight against them in the plain, and surely we shall be stronger than they. And do this thing, take the kings away, every man out of his place, and put captains in their places. Number thee an army, like the army that thou hast lost, horse for horse, chariot for chariot, and we will fight against them in the plain. Surely we shall be stronger than they. And he hearkened unto their voice, and did so. And it came to pass in the return of the year that Benhadad numbered the Syrians, and went up to Aphek to fight against Israel. And the children of Israel were numbered, and all were present, and went against them. And the children of Israel pitched camp before like 2 little flocks of kids, but the Syrians filled the country. And there came a man of God, who spoke unto the king of Israel, and said, Thus saith the Lord God, because the Syrians have said, The Lord is God of hills, but not of the valley. Therefore will I deliver all this great multitude unto thine hand, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. And they pitched camp on one opposite the other 7 days. And so it was that on the 7th day of the battle was joined, the children of Israel slew the Syrians 100,000 footmen in 1 day, and the rest fled to Aphek into the city. And there a wall fell upon 27,000 of the men who were left. And Benhadad fled, and came to the city, into an inner chamber, and his servants said unto him, Behold now, we have heard that the kings of the house of Israel are merciful kings. Let us, I pray thee, put sackcloth on our loins, and ropes on our heads, and go to the kings of Israel. Perhaps he will save thy life. So they girded sackcloth on their loins, and put ropes on their heads, and came to the king of Israel, and said, Thy servant Benhadad saith, I pray thee, let me live. And he said, Is he yet alive? He is my brother. Now the men diligently observed whether anything would come from him, and hastily caught it. And they said, Thy brother Ben-Hadad. And he said, Go, bring him. Then Ben-Hadad came forth to him, and caused him to come up to the chariot. And Ben-Hadad said to him, The cities which my father took from thy father I will restore, and thou shalt make streets for thyself in Damascus, as my father made in Samaria. Then said Ahab, I will send thee away with this covenant. And he made a covenant with him, and sent him away. And a certain man of the sons of the prophets said unto his neighbor in the word of the Lord, Smite me, I pray thee. And the man refused to smite him. Then he said unto him, Because thou hast not obeyed the voice of the Lord, behold, as soon as thou art departed from me, a lion shall slay thee. And as soon as he is departed from him, a lion found him, and slew him. Then he found another man, and said, Smite me, I pray thee. And the man smote him, so that in smiting him he wounded him. And the prophet departed, and waited for the king by the way, and disguised himself with ashes upon his face. And the king passed by. As the king passed by, he cried unto the king, and said, Thy servant went unto the midst of the battle, and behold, a man turned aside, and brought a man unto me, and said, Keep this man, and if by any means he be missing, then shall thy life be for his life, or else thou shalt pay a talent for silver. And as thy servant was busy here and there, he was gone. And the king of Israel said unto him, So shall thy judgment be. Thyself hast decided it. And he hastened and took the ashes away from his face. And the king of Israel recognized him, that he was the prophet. And he said unto the king, Thus saith the Lord, because thou hast let go out of thy hand a man whom I appointed to utter destruction, therefore thy life shall go from his life, and thy people for his people. And the king of Israel went to his house heavy and displeased, and came to Samaria. 21. And it came to pass after these things that Naboth the Jezreelite had a vineyard which was in Jezreel, hard by the palace of Ahab king of Samaria. And Ahab spoke to Naboth, saying, Give me thy vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs, because it is near unto my house, and I will give thee for it a better vineyard for it. Or, if it seem good to thee, I will give thee the worth for it in money. And Naboth said to Ahab, The Lord forbid thee that I should give the inheritance of my fathers unto thee. And Ahab came to his house heavy and displeased, because of the word of Naboth the Jezreelite had spoken to him. For he had said, I would not give the inheritance of my fathers. And he lay on his bed, and turned away his face, and would not eat bread. But Jezebel his wife came to him, and said to him, Why is thy spirit so sad, that thou eatest not bread? And he said unto her, Because I spoke to Naboth the Jezreelite, and said unto him, Give me the vineyard for money, or else, if it please thee, I'll give you another vineyard for it. And he answered, I will not give thee my vineyard. So Jezebel his wife said unto him, Dost thou now govern the kingdom of Israel? Arise, eat bread, and let thine heart be merry. I will give thee the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. So she wrote letters in Ahab's name, and sealed them with his seal, and sent the letters unto the elders of the nobles who were in his city, dwelling with Naboth. And she wrote in the letter, saying, Proclaim a fast, set Naboth on high among the people, and set 2 men, sons of Belial, before him, to bear witness against him, saying, Thou dost blaspheme God and the king. And then carry him out and stone him, that he may die. And the men of his city, even the elders and the nobles who were the inhabitants of the city, did as Jezebel sent unto them. They proclaimed a fast, and set Naboth on high among the people. And there were 2 men, children of Belial, and sat before him. And the men of Belial witnessed against him, even against Naboth, in the presence of the people, saying, Naboth blasphemed God and the king. They carried him forth out of the city, and stoned him with stones, so he died. And they sent to Jezebel, saying, Naboth has been stoned and is dead. And it came to pass, when Jezebel heard that Naboth had been stoned and was dead, that Jezebel said to Ahab, Arise, take possession of the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite, which he refused to give thee for money. For Naboth is not alive, but dead. And it came to pass when Ahab heard that Naboth was dead, that Ahab arose and would go down to the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite and take possession of it. And the word of the Lord came to Elijah the Tishbite, saying, Arise, go to meet Ahab the king of Israel, who is in Samaria. Behold, he is in the vineyard of Naboth, whither he has gone down to possess it. And thou shalt speak unto him, saying, Thus saith the Lord, Hast thou killed and also taken possession? And thou shalt speak unto him, saying, Thus saith the Lord, In the place where the dogs lick the blood of Naboth, shall dogs lick thy blood, even thine. And Ahab said to Elijah, Hast thou found me, O mine enemy? And he answered, I have found thee, because thou hast sold thyself to work evil in the sight of the Lord. Behold, I will bring evil upon thee, and will take away the prosperity, and will cut off from Ahab him that urinates against the wall, and him that is shut up and left in Israel, and will make thine house like the house of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha the son of Ahijah, for the provocation wherewith thou hast provoked me to anger and made Israel sin. And of Jezebel also spoke the Lord, saying, The dog shall eat Jezebel by the wall of Jezreel. Him and Ahab that dieth in the city the dogs shall eat, and him that dieth in the field shall the fowls of the air eat. But there was none like unto Ahab, who sold himself to work wickedness in the sight of the Lord, whom Jezebel his wife stirred up. And he did very abominably in following idols, according to all things as in the Amorites, whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel. And it came to pass, when Ahab heard those words, that he rent his clothes and put sackcloth upon his flesh, and fasted, and lay in sackcloth, and went out dispiritedly. And the word of the Lord came to Elijah the Tishbite, saying, Seest thou how Elijah humbled himself before me? Because he humbled himself before me, I will not bring evil in his days, but in his son's days will I bring evil upon his house. Chapter 22. And they continued 3 years without war between Syria and Israel. And it came to pass in the 3rd year that Jehoshaphat the king of Judah came down to the king of Israel. And the king of Israel said to his servants, Know ye that Ramah in Gilead is ours, and we are still, and take it not out of the hand of the king of Syria. And he said unto Jehoshaphat, Wilt thou go with me to battle to Ramoth Gilead? Jehoshaphat said to the king of Israel, I am as thou art, my people as thy people, my horses as thy horses. And Jehoshaphat said unto the king of Israel, Inquire, I pray thee, for the word of the Lord today. And the king of Israel gathered the prophets together, about 400 men, and said unto them, Shall I go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall I forbear? And they said, Go up, for the Lord shall deliver it into the hand of the king. And Jehoshaphat said, Is there not a prophet of the Lord besides, that we might inquire of him? And the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, There is yet one man, Micaiah, the son of Imlah, by whom we may inquire of the Lord, but I hate him, for he doth not prophesy good concerning me, but evil. And Jehoshaphat said, Let not the king say so. Then the king of Israel called an officer and said, Hasten hither Micaiah, the son of Imlah. And the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, sat each on his throne, having put on their robes, in the vacant place in the entrance of the gate of Samaria. And all the prophets prophesied before them. And Zedekiah the son of Chenaniah made himself horns of iron, and said, Thus saith the Lord, With these shalt thou push the Samaritans until thou have consumed them. And all the prophets prophesied so, saying, Go up to Ramoth Gilead, and prosper, and the Lord shall deliver it into the king's hand. And the messenger who had gone up to call Micaiah spoke unto him, saying, Behold now, the words of the prophets declare good unto the king with one mouth. Let thy word, I pray thee, be like the word of one of them, to speak that which is good. And Micaiah say, As the Lord liveth, what the Lord saith unto me, that I will speak. So he came to the king, and the king said unto him, Micaiah, shall we go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall we forbear? And he answered them, Go and prosper, for the Lord shall deliver it unto the hand of the king. And the king said unto him, How many times must I adjure you that you must tell me nothing but that is true in the name of the Lord? And then he said, I saw all Israel scattered upon the hills as sheep that have no shepherd. And the Lord said, These have no master. Let them return every man to his house in peace. And the kings of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, Did I not tell you that he would prophesy no good concerning me, but evil? And Micaiah said, Hear thou concerning the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing by him, on his right hand and on his left. And the Lord said, Who will persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one said in this manner, and another in that manner. And there came forth a spirit that stood before the Lord, and said, I will persuade him. And the Lord said unto him, Wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I will put a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, Thou shalt persuade him, and prevail also, go forth, and do so. Now therewith, behold, the Lord hath put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these thy prophets, and the Lord hath spoken evil concerning thee. But Zedekiah the son of Chenaniah went near, and smote Micaiah on the cheek, and said, Which way went the Spirit of the Lord from me to speak unto thee? And Micaiah said, Behold, thou shalt see in that day when thou shalt go into the inner chamber to hide thyself. And the king of Israel said, Take Micaiah, and carry him back to Amon, the governor of the city, and to Joash the king's son, and say, Thus saith the king, Put this fellow in the prison, and feed him with bread of affliction and with water of affliction until I come in peace. And Micaiah said, If thou return at all in peace, the Lord hath not spoken by me. And he said, Hearken, O people, every one of you. So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat and the king of Judah went up to Ramoth Gilead. And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, I will disguise myself and enter into the battle, and put on thy robes. And the king of Israel disguised himself and went to the battle. But the king of Assyria commanded his 32 captains who had rule over the chariot, saying, Fight neither with small nor great, save only with the king of Israel. And it came to pass, when the captains of the chariot saw Jehoshaphat, they said, Surely that is the king of Israel. And they turned aside to fight against him. And Jehoshaphat cried out. And it came to pass, when the captains and chariots perceived that it was not the king, they turned back from pursuing him. And a certain man drew a bow at random, and smote the king of Israel between the joints of the armor. Therefore he said unto the driver of his chariot, Turn thine hand, and carry me out from the host, for I am wounded. And the battle increased that day, and the king was propped up on his chariot against the Syrians, and died at evening, and the blood ran out of the wound unto the midst of the chariot. And there went a proclamation throughout the host about the going down of the sun, saying, Every man to his city, every man to his own country. So the king died, and was brought to Samaria, and they buried the king in Samaria. And one washed the chariot in the pool of Samaria, and the dogs licked up his blood, and they washed his armor according to the word of the Lord which he spoke. Now the rest of the acts of Ahab, and all that he had done, and the ivory house which he made, and all the cities he had built, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Ahab slept with his fathers, and Ahaziah his son reigned in his stead. And Jehoshaphat the son of Asa began to reign over Judah in the 4th year of Ahab king of Israel.
Jehoshaphat was 35 when he began to reign, and he reigned 25 in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Azubah, the daughter of Shili, and he walked all the ways of Asa his father. He turned not aside from it, doing that which was right in the eyes of the Lord. Nevertheless, the high places were not taken away, for the people offered and burned incense yet in the high places, and Jehoshaphat made peace with the king of Israel. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoshaphat, and his might that he sowed, and how he warred, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And the remnant of the Sodomites, who remained in the days of his father Asa, he took out of the land. There was then no king of Edom. A deputy was king. Jehoshaphat made ships of Tarshish to go to Ophir for gold, but they went not, for the ships were broken at Ezion-Geber. And then Ahaziah, the son of Ahab, unto Jehoshaphat, Let my servants go with thy servants in the ships. But Jehoshaphat would not. And Jehoshaphat slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers, and in the city of David his father. And Jehoram his son reigned in his stead. Ahaziah, the son of Ahab, began to reign over Israel in Samaria the 17th year of Jehoshaphat king of Judah, and reigned 2 years over Israel. He did evil in the sight of the Lord, walked in the way of his father, and the way of his mother, the way of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. And he served Baal and worshipped him, and provoked to anger the Lord God of Israel, according to all that his father had done. The end of the first book of Kings.